You are listening to the You Get to Decide podcast with your host, Allison Cratchola Gallagher, episode number 9. Welcome to the You Get to Decide podcast. This is your life and business coach and host, Allison Cratchola Gallagher. I help all you high achievers out there feel content and confident so that you can feel happy now. Then you're just going to go out and create the life of your dreams faster. Through my journey, coaches have helped me completely transform my life, and now I get to help you do the same. Every week, we're going to talk tools, tips, and tricks to help you take consistent action based off the life you want. Because you really do get to decide your life. And I am here to remind you of that every week. So let's get started. Hi, everybody. So what we're going to talk about today is regret. And I think even when we see the word, when we think of the word, it's just such a negative, heavy, uncomfortable feeling. And I want to change that today. I want to talk about regret in a way that is empowering and how it's an asset to our life, how it can be a positive. I want you to feel different about regret, and that's what I'm hoping to accomplish today. So, and it's so natural for our brain, and I actually looked this up, why it is so natural for our brain to go to regret, and I actually got a lot of information that was really amazing, that really helped in what I wanted to talk about today. It helped prove some of the things, some of my experiences and the ways that I look at regret. Because I think all humans, adults, we have so much regret and we use it against ourselves. I mean, I did this so much. But when I think about my life today, I have no regrets. And the reason that I have no regrets is because I'm giving it my all. I know that. Anything that my brain offers me to do, big things that are scary, I'm doing. And I love hard. And I'm sensitive. So I feel deeply. And I have since I was a kid. And there were times where I regretted that. But to live the full human experience is to feel all of our feelings. And I'm so grateful that I loved hard as a kid. And I had such heartbreak because what they say is I wore my heart on my sleeve. And highly sensitive, man, you feel those feelings so deeply. Sometimes it feels like it's going to kill you. But that means I'm living a full human experience. And that's what I would want for my daughter, is to feel all those feelings, because that means you're living a full life. But when I think about regret, really the only thing, if anything, I would regret is not loving myself deeply sooner, is not letting go of the self-critic sooner, is not believing in myself sooner. And when I do have that regret, really, because I love myself, because I hold space for myself, I just have compassion for her in the past, that she was doing her best and she brought me here. And there is no room for that type of regret. And I want to transition into what that means is regret is information. I wanted to love myself deeply sooner. I wanted to believe in myself deeply sooner, and I regret that I didn't. That helps me remember to decide today in the moment to love myself deeply, to hold compassion for myself, to remember to believe in myself, because I regret when I didn't. The same thing with your body or changing jobs. If you have regret for not getting your workout in, or if you have regret if you live in regret daily for not choosing you, for not putting your resume out, right? There's procrastination that happens, and then there's regret. But I want you to see your regret as information. Regret is happening because you want to do something that you're not doing. You maybe want to take care of your body in a way that you're not doing. You want to lose those 20 pounds, and so you regret when you are deciding against it, when you pick up that piece of cake, or you hold regret for things you've allowed others to say to you. The regret is there because it's information for how you want to be spoken to. For deep down, what you think is what your boundaries are. Use that as information going forward. And then your job is to figure out what your boundaries look like and how to set them, right? Taking action on the body you want to have, on the business. If you know deep down that you have an entrepreneur spirit, and I talk to women especially about this, but you have no idea the business you want to start, it is your work to figure it out. Or else you'll live in regret, right? What are you regretting today? List them out. What do you have control over and what don't you have control over? We don't have control over what comes out of people's mouths, but we have control over how we react. Okay? And so how would you want to react next time? And figuring out what feels good in our reaction and how we want to show up. Because I remember having a lot of anger as a kid, and in my teens having anger, and not thinking I didn't have a voice, thinking that I wasn't worthy to stick up for myself, or even sticking up for myself was an option. I just thought how people spoke to me was how I was supposed to be spoken to. How people treated me was just how I was supposed to be treated, right? So in order for me to figure out how I wanted to be treated, I had to get through anger. And so when I started to have a voice, it came out angry, and it came out yelling, and it came out overreacting, and it came out in many ways making a fool out of myself. But that was the process for me to get to the place where I knew I wanted to react. I had to get through that anger. And so in that transition of becoming someone who sets boundaries, I did it wrong. For me, it didn't feel good coming out the side of my neck. Right? It's like the story of you losing your shit over please pass the potatoes, right? Because you've been holding it in for so long that when it does start to come out, you boil over. And that happened with me. And I kept going, and I kept figuring out what it looks like for me to have boundaries. And I can set boundaries very clearly today. I can articulate them. I can hold space for the person that maybe is pushing the boundary. And then I decide whether it's even worth it to set the boundary or just let the person think that they have power and control. And I, in a neutral way, go about my life. But I had to boil over first. So we have to hold space for ourselves in having regret for allowing others to speak to us a certain way, or the regret of how the self-critic, or the regret for not doing the thing. We have to hold space for ourselves as we move towards figuring things out. Okay. And I think especially with women, society has taught us, and probably generational, that we're really not supposed to want things for ourselves, that we're not allowed to speak up for ourselves. We're the caregiver. We are not allowed to seek contentment in things maybe other than family, you know? And so I talk to women that have no idea what they want, but they're holding regret for what they don't even know they want. And figuring out what you want means trying new things and holding space for yourself as if you figure out, this feels good to me. I'm going to continue to go in this direction. And if you're regretting not taking care of yourself, if you're regretting not putting yourself first, what are you making it mean? My daughter watches me take care of myself. That's showing her own self-love as a girl. And even if you have a boy, you're showing, any kid that you have, you're showing them that what self-love looks like. That they're not supposed to grow up and just take care of everybody else and not themselves. So regret happens because we have this belief that we're not allowed to want things, that it's superficial, or when my desk is clear, I'll check into that. I have regret, but I'm not allowed right now to explore whatever I'm regretting not doing. I don't have the time. I'm not allowed to make time for that. Why do you think I named this podcast? You get to decide. Because you really do get to decide. Now is the time. Whenever is the time. But like your reasons. Okay? When my desk is clear, when my kids are out of the house. Do you want to wait until your kids are out of the house to feel fulfilled in your own life? For me, parenting, there is fulfillment in parenting, but I have my own personal goals. I want to know that I gave life my all. And I'm doing that. And I challenge myself, am I doing that when I talk myself out of doing anything that's fearful? Okay, or seems fearful. I'm like, well, I'm doing that thing again where I'm talking myself out of doing the unknown. What would it look like if I tried that? And feeling the vulnerability of doing it. Or we think confident, we have to be confident first to try the thing. But I'm telling you, what confidence comes from is having your own back. Especially when you're going to try to do something you've never tried. Okay? If you want to play guitar, okay, but you have this dying, this connection to music, and you want to try to play the guitar. But thinking about even trying it feels so vulnerable to you because there's thoughts happening. Well, what if I'm just not good enough? What if I'm not built to play guitar? What if I make a fool out of myself? My kids will suffer if I create that time, right? There is some belief, especially with mothers, that in some way people will think I'm a bad mother if I do this, or my kids will suffer. They won't get to their activities, whatever it is. Or what if I'm not good enough? What if I sound like shit? And I'm telling you, the magic of confidence is loving yourself through the process. Knowing if it's an epic failure, having your own back, and what does the failure mean? The failure means maybe this is harder than I thought, but I want to excel. I want to know what it's like for me to be a good guitar player. And I want to meet him or her. So you have to make the failure mean, I got to try harder. I can figure this out. And that is having your own back along the way. Letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of the self-critic. Confidence is, I'm going to be okay on the other side, no matter the result of the new thing or the setback. And I also want you to think about how much time, if you're spending time regretting not creating the discipline in your life to lose the 20 pounds, but this could go, like I went from guitar to losing weight. This could be any type of regret that you might have. I want to inspire you that how much time are you spending throughout the day thinking about the body change you want to make, thinking about how you feel in your body, feeling inside the drive to get healthier, and all the different times throughout your day that you're thinking about it. That is taking more energy, and then living in the regret, right? That constantly regretting that another day went by, I'm not doing this, I'm not having that conversation. I'm allowing this person to take advantage of me. And another day goes by and you do nothing about it, but yeah, and you're ruminating. That takes way more energy than taking action. I promise you. And then I want you to think about the value of who you're going to be on the other side of taking that action. Less regret. Who do you want to be 10 years from now? What do you want to accomplish? Who will you have become? Because I'm telling you, your best life doesn't live less problems. Life isn't better there when you reach the goal, when you've learned how to play guitar. You are not more worthy. Life does not have less problems. You're not more popular. That's not the reason to have the goal. If you want to learn guitar and the feeling of playing a beautiful guitar and you want to know what that feels like, or losing weight and being in a thinner, more fit body, your problems do not go away. I promise you, I know this, right? Or creating a certain amount of money in your business. It's not, yes, of course, money can solve some problems, but it doesn't mean you are immortal. It doesn't mean that that problems elude you for the rest of your life. Okay. But it is who you're becoming. It is the person that can create 6 figures in your business. The person that is more disciplined, that prioritizes themselves when they are on the journey to get fit, and the disciplined to eat a certain food plan and be wherever you are and feel in control, feel disciplined, knowing you're choosing yourself over fitting in the crowd and everybody's drinking the wine, but you're choosing you. Think about that person you're becoming. You're solidifying yourself to yourself, and think about what that's showing your kids. Have conversations with your kids about that if it's age appropriate. Though I've spoken to my daughter at a very young age about some of these things, because it's just naturally who I am. But I want you to think about the pride, the deeper sense of confidence that if I can do this, then I can do that. Okay? That's what's on the other side of working through whatever you're regretting you're not doing. Regretting is information, right? So it's a conversation you didn't have. Or if you do have a desire to play guitar and you're living in regret about that, that's information. The vacation you didn't take, the travel that you wish you did. Well, look to your future and decide that you're going to fit traveling in, because you regret it when you don't. Regret is just speaking to you, and it's teaching you who you are, what your priorities are, what your values are. Look at it as information and inspiration. If there's things in your life that you're regretting right now, it's beautiful, right? And so for me, anything I regret is really about how I spoke to myself, that I didn't believe in myself deeply. And that is a reminder every day that is the priority. And when the self-critic shows up, that I get to decide that I don't need her today, that she creates regret for me. And I'm always learning. So if I regret not speaking up to someone in a conversation who is, disrespectful to me, if there's regret there, I analyze it. Okay, why am I regretting this? Am I regretting that I want to speak to someone differently in those spaces? Okay, so let me set myself up for the next time. This is the conversation I want to have and how I want to show up and speak it to them. I use it as information. Because growing up, I regretted every word that came out of my mouth because I was riddled with shame. And I use that as information, that the regret came from shame. And that deep regret that felt so shitty came from shame. But I don't want to feel shame today. Shame is the regret. Shame brought on the regret for just being me. So today, I know that I authentically am me in every situation, that I have my back when I make mistakes. When shame shows up, I know that that's a messenger for me to heal. Shame taught me to regret everything, every word that came out of my mouth, right? And today that I know that when I analyze my regret, where is it coming from? Is it coming from my higher self and what I want to show up being, doing, thinking? Or is the regret coming from that scarcity, that lack, that I don't trust myself? Regret. I see the differences, and I hope that this is informative to you. I hope this is coming across clearly to you to analyze your regret. There's information there. When I feel vulnerable, right, like a podcast, when you feel vulnerable and you put yourself out there in a way, maybe you have a vulnerable conversation with someone, regret could show up, right? But I analyze it. Is that coming from because I clearly want to show up differently? No, that's coming from the challenge of growth, vulnerability. So when I see my brain offers me regret for vulnerability, I'm like, nope, there's no regret there. I'm on the right road. Vulnerability is good. Building my capacity and my growth is good. My brain wants to show me that, wants to offer me shame sometimes and in the regret, but I'm like, nope, I have to analyze that today. My higher self, Allison, the one that knows better, has to analyze that today. But I have to say, the regret I have is very little. And I check in with it. And I want you to do the same. I want you to think about, what would it look like to give it your all? What would it look like? Do you even know what giving it your all in this life looks like? And are you? Are you giving it all? Are you having a full human experience? That's why we're here. And I want you to also think about, on the other side of whatever you're hesitating on, who you become, you'll be more of yourself. That's why I ask, are you giving it your all? It is giving you a full human experience because you are here to become more of you. And the regrets are information coming from inside you, your intuition of the path you should move towards to become more of who you're meant to be. And that doesn't mean waiting for your kids to leave the house. That doesn't mean waiting for your desk to clear so that there's more time. We only have limited amount of time. And I don't want you to use regret against yourself anymore. I want you to analyze it and look at it as information. Because it is a powerful feeling, and our brain loves to offer us regret. But I want you to use it as a tool for who you want to be, for the person you want to become, for the things you want to do, the goals that you make. When I am done with this life, I want to know that I tried all the things that are desired in my heart. I gave it my all. Parenting, loving of my partner, the business I want to create, the relationships, the conversations, the things that I want to try. I want to meet the Allison who gave it her all. And if you don't know what that looks like, it is your job to figure it out, and you can. I can help you do that. That's what I do with a lot of moms. Moms feel lost, and then they live in regret every single day. Is that serving your kids? Living in regret every day and being so resentful towards yourself and towards the world? It is conducive to you to take the time to figure out what the regret is telling you and take small steps towards whatever you're regretting, and take small steps towards whatever that goal looks like. It is easier, I'm telling you now, to create the food plan and practice discipline. Practice, right? Practicing is the key word there. Creating the discipline in your life and the fitness journey to create the body you want to create. It is easier to do that than to sit and ruminate and regret all day, every day. I promise you. Try me. Test it out. So I think that's it for today. I want you to remember to use regret as a tool, not to use it against yourself. That confidence comes from having your own back when there's setbacks in whatever you want to do, because I think we live in regret because we don't think we're capable, right? Our brain is like, people will talk about us. People will realize we're not good enough. You don't feel good enough, right? Well, knowing that you can have your own back, that's confidence. And why can't you have your own back? You can. You should. You should be your own best friend. Comfort yourself in the hard times, because that's what's going to get us through to the other side. That's what's going to get us through, is having our own back, not berating ourselves through this process. Okay? So use regret as a tool. Analyze it. Why am I feeling regret? Look at it. And then use it for information going forward for how you want to show up. And I promise you'll see regret differently, and then you'll end up having less regret. And analyze, what would it look like for you to give it your all in your life? It looks very different than mine, right? You have all these different things inside of you for you to have your own personal human experience that you deserve to have. No matter your job, no matter how much limited time you have, no matter where, taking care of whoever you're taking care of, no matter how many kids you have, no matter where you live, you deserve to have a full human experience and give it your all to see what you can become. You will be more of who you're meant to be. So that's it for today. You are worthy of this. I want you to do the work that we discussed here, analyze, and then go live your best life. Bye, guys. Hold up. Before you go, are you ready to accelerate the road to your goals? Or have you lost momentum and need some extra help? Or maybe you just know you're meant for more but don't know where to start. I can help you. I invite you to a free call with me where we're going to talk about where you are and where you want to be. And at the end of that call, you're going to have a ton of clarity, you're going to feel relieved, and you're going to know the steps to take to get you where you want to go. And then you decide if working with me is the right fit or not. No sweat. Go to my website, AllisonGallagher.com/coaching, or the link to my calendar and to connect with me is in the show notes. It is time to stop dreaming about the life you want and start taking steps in that direction. Let's go. This is Allison Cratchola Gallagher and the You Get to Decide podcast. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys later. Bye.